Welcome to Bike Shows UK. My name's Steve Berry and this is my bike. No it isn't, but it's very nice. This is Bike Shows UK and each week we go to a different bike event somewhere in the country, and this week we are in lovely sunny South Yorkshire. In fact, we're in Doncaster at the Rugby Club for the 10th anniversary of the Virgo Stars Owners Club. Now, Viragos and I don't have the best of history. In fact, I will admit I once destroyed one, and I mean destroyed it. I chained it between two trucks, I pulled it in half, then I drove one of the trucks over the wreckage, then I set it on fire. But this weekend I'm hoping to patch up my differences with the people who own and love these bikes and have a great time.
Many of those joining the ride out have camped out at the rally, and they spent the morning cleaning and fettling their machines ready for the ride. Being a member of the VSOC means you get to show off your machine at every opportunity. And there are all kinds of unusual custom styles and flashy paint jobs around. Just take a look at this one.
Who did the paint job for you? Baz from Exeter. He's quite renowned in the southwest. Took 3 weeks to do, and just as much money as well, about 350 quid. And he never does the same job twice. So he won't copy anything, and it's original. You have to give him a free license, you can't give him a picture. That's what he came up with. The significance of his, with the VSOC, we're sent to 17, and he didn't know that. And on the side of the tank, there's 17 skulls, which is quite spooky. I've had it about 2 years now. Yeah, fell in love with it when I first came in the club. Phil had it, but Phil's given up biking now through ill health, so it had to stay in the club, so I brought it.
I met up with Bob Haig, member of the Yorkies VSOC, to find out what's so special about this weekend.
Now Bob, we're all about to get on our bikes and buzz off up to York, and I believe we're going to stop at Squires as well on the way back and stuff like that. How much work goes into planning that route and the marshalling and sorting out who's going to do what job? And
Right, well the committee have started out back in early April, every Sunday since then, and the odd Wednesday night when it's been decent, meeting up here, riding up to York on at least half a dozen different routes, working out which one's the easiest to marshal, which one's the easiest for a group of 170 bikes to travel safely along, and where we're likely to get the least disruption.
How's the club actually evolved from when it first started, and why do you think it's got such a big membership when the bikes themselves aren't really amongst the best-selling bikes?
It's a puzzle. It's been going now, like this is its 10th anniversary year. This is the first rally of the 10th anniversary, and membership seems to have grown year on year. And although about 3 years since we changed the name to incorporate the star, when you look round there's still a big percentage of Viragos out and about, even though they're not easily available these days. A lot of Viragos here are quite a few years old, as you know, 8-10-year-old Viragos, and I think people put a lot of time and effort in on individualising them, chroming them up, getting paint jobs done on them. They're reluctant to let them go because you're never going to get that sort of money back when you trade them in.
What about the logistics of moving all those people? Do you need to tell the police you're going to do it and stuff like that, or will they get upset if you don't tell them?
We've spoken to the police for this area. They wanted to know if it was an annual thing, and we explained it was a one-off. They were quite happy as long as we explained what we were doing. We've been in touch with York City Council. They lifted the parking restrictions for the square around Clifford's Tower, so that was okay for us to park there today, so we all had one meeting place. You weren't trying to clutter up side streets or park on a multi-storey car park, and it provided a bit of a show for the people who were in York. Because when we turn up, people stop photographing Clifford's Tower and the Castle Museum, and they're all taking pictures of bikes. It's something they don't see every day. So you know, you've got to liaise with quite a few different people to make sure it runs smoothly. You don't get somebody going around slapping parking tickets
on 170
bikes. It'd be a bonus day.
At 10 AM on a distinctly damp Saturday morning, all of the riders got ready in the car park of the Doncaster Rugby Club. People have come from far and wide all over Europe to join in the 10th anniversary celebrations and take part in the ride out.
did. We're all the way from Chicago, Illinois, in the States.
It's a long way to come just to go from Doncaster to York.
Oh, no, we got friends that live here, so we love it. They came and joined us last year at our rally. We coming this year to join their rally.
Going on the run, going to York, looking forward to it. Never been over the pond, so to speak, so I'm here.
Well, hello, I'm Cindy with the Lady Rider Show in Florida from Tampa, and I want to just say you have a beautiful country here, and thank you so much for letting me ride it.
The marshals check that everyone knows where they're going, and we're off. Over 170 bikes ride out towards York along the A19. Quite a sight to behold. The ride-out pauses just outside the historic city centre to pick up a police escort and make sure we all make it safely to the castle. With so many bikes in the rally, it takes a while for us all to park safely.
What is a Virago? Well, if you're a dungaree-wearing radical feminist, it's a publishing company, but if you're a motorcyclist, it's a custom bike made in Japan. And I like to think of it in the same way as the little Mazda MX-5, a hugely successful motor car that drew heavily, shall we say, on the British and Italian two-seater sports cars of the 1960s. The Japanese are brilliant at that, aren't they? They take someone else's good idea and they make it more affordable, more accessible and more reliable, which is exactly what Yamaha did with the Virago. The good idea in the first place was of course had by the Harley-Davidson Motor Company of Milwaukee, USA. Let's not beat about the bush. The Virago is a Harley clone, but where it differs from Harley is that it's much more accessible. Viragos start as 125cc and go up to 1100 cc's. Get them young and keep them loyal. Virago owners absolutely love their bikes.
So what is it about this bike and the club that makes it so special?
Because I like choppers, I like the look of Harleys, but I want a bike that doesn't break down.
Well, because I'm not a speed merchant and I need a nice comfortable bike to ride.
Well, initially it was a colour. That was what struck me to buy it. But having now I ride a Virago, I wouldn't change for anything. Just love them. Just love Viragos.
What is it about them though?
I don't know. Just they're just so laid back. Absolutely awesome bike. That's all I can say about them, really.
I've been in the club since '94, and it's a good club. And there's a lot of mates in here, so. And if you've owned a Virago, because you can stay in the club.
I just like the style.
Yeah.
You know? It's comfortable to ride. I didn't want anything like fast, you know, sports bike style. Yeah. Obviously insurance, well, I've just passed my test last year, I've just been doing it a year.
Yeah.
So insurance would have been sky high. It's a bit less with these.
I suppose it's a bit of posing machine, isn't it, I suppose, for us older people sort of thing, that perhaps want a bit of attention or something, I don't know. But it's great, but they never let you down or anything like that. And once you get in the club, it's great feeling and everything, like, because everybody's friendly, everybody talks to you.
The weather takes a turn for the worse and everyone runs for cover. After 2 hours, it's time to move off from York. Once everyone's ready, the rally rides out. This time, we head south out of York onto the B1222. Next stop, the infamous Squire's Cafe in Sherburn-in-Elmet. The 30-minute ride to the cafe takes us through some remarkable countryside.
Well, after York, it was a gentle 12-mile jaunt down the B1222 or something like that. Pretty bumpy B road, I might add, if you're on a huge, great big touring bike, like I was, with a great big cameraman on the back. But a nice ride through some lovely countryside to the famous Squire's Coffee Bar, or is it Squire's Cafe Bar? They don't seem to have actually made their mind up themselves. It's a famous meeting place for bikers, and it's hard to work out why. Not just because the coffee is fabulous, even though it is, and not just because the pasties are legendary, and the pasties are legendary, but because it's in such fantastic biking countryside, whether you're riding a scooter, a sports bike or a Virago. It's just great biking country around here.
Many riders take the time to get a bit of rest after the long ride. After a short stop at the cafe for a coffee and a pasty, it was time to head back to camp. The journey back to Doncaster again takes us through some spectacular scenery.
Would you believe it? We've come to the end of part one, but don't worry, because we'll be back very soon with lots more V-twin Yamaha engined fun. Welcome back to part two of Bike Shows UK with me, Steve Berry, and this week we're in, well, we're not in Scotland, but we're not far off. We're actually in the People's Republic of South Yorkshire, and we're at a great big party to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Virgo Stars Owners Club, and what a party it's been.
Back at camp after the first day of a ride-out weekend. As everyone got ready to party, I went to find out a bit more about the Virgo and Star Owners Club from Club Secretary Malcolm Bland.
The club was founded in 1993, this is our 10th anniversary year, and it was founded by a couple of guys called John Brining and Peter Healy. Enthusiasts who both wanted to get a family of riders together on the Viragos at the time.
And how many members has the club grown to? What sort of size is this event?
The club has currently about 1,100 members. Last year we finished on something just short of 1,500, and at this event this weekend we've got over 450 people here.
So there's obviously an international aspect to all of this.
Yeah, the club website again has links to many of the international clubs within the Virgo Star or the Virago Club itself, and we've got members here this weekend from Denmark, from Holland, from Canada, from America, and of course there's everybody from Scotland down to from John O'Groats to Land's End here this weekend.
I've noticed there are quite a few bikes here that are getting on a bit, but they're all in really good condition, and they seem to have a decent amount of mileage on it. Do they last well?
Well, you can see from the bikes we've got here, there's H registers, there's P registers, there's Y registers, there's A registers, so people have a passion for them, and the passion really is to keep them running. And the engine itself, it's the 750 and 1100 a shaft drive. The Star itself has a belt drive and a shaft drive. So, and the engine itself, if you look after it, if you do the regular servicing, change the filters at the right intervals, the engine's literally bomb-proof, and you won't have much trouble with it.
After a long day out on the bike, everyone takes the opportunity to relax in the bar. Even the Flintstones make an appearance. This surely is what it's all about.
Well, I wonder how the Flintstones are feeling this morning. Not quite yabba dabba doo, I don't think. Rather like me, rather like they've been hit round the head with a large rock. But never mind, I've had my full English breakfast. I'm starting to feel a bit more like a human being. And very shortly, I shall get on my bike and go for a ride. Go on, you lot.
As the riders prepare themselves for the second big ride out, I have a chat with Roger, a dedicated Virago owner.
What is it about the Virago that really makes it the bike for you?
It's easy, laid-back style of riding, and you're not bum up in air and head down on tank, blasting about. You can sit in the back and you can have a look round and see what's going on, you know.
How did you get on last night? Was it a good day? Did you enjoy it?
Excellent, excellent. Absolutely loved it. I've loved the whole weekend. It's been brilliant.
It's time to get going on the ride out. Today, we're all headed off for the Royal Armouries in Leeds. As the guys rode to Leeds, I decided to take a Virago out for a test run. You never know, I might even enjoy the experience. Now, I wouldn't call this a road test, more a familiarisation, especially since this bike had done over 8,000 miles. Buzzing along, I can see why it's so popular, why it was such a huge sales success for Yamaha. In town, it struggles and I felt every single bump in the road. But out on the open road, it sings along, it's like it's been set free. It's smoother and it's a lot more comfortable. Viragos, you know, have become collector's items. When they first came out, everybody thought they were nothing more than a cheap Harley. Nowadays, it's really hard to get hold of one. It's cruel, I think, to label the Virago as a wannabe Harley, because this bike, the 535, brought custom biking to a whole new group of people. It's an entry-level custom bike. It's ideal for the sort of person who wants this kind of image. And let's be honest, most bikers are image obsessed. You don't actually have to own a Virago, a Dragstar or a Wildstar to tag along on the ride out. I came to the rally on a huge BMW R1200 CL, the bike that's affectionately known as the Transformer. It's a strange looking beast, you either love it or you loathe it.
It's big, isn't it? Hey, steady on. It's the bike, a BMW. When I told the Virgo Stars Owner Club I was coming to their rally here in sunny Doncaster on a big twin cruiser custom bike, but it wasn't a Harley Davidson, none of them guessed that it would turn out to be a BMW. It's not really a make that we associate with the sort of chrome and monochrome world of custom bikes, but here we are. The cruiser, of course, has been around for what, 4 or 5 years. It was the one in the Bond movie with a nice Chinese lady handcuffed to Pierce Brosnan, sat on the tank facing him, which curiously is the way that I like to carry my passengers as well. Look at this capacious accommodation, absolute sumptuous luxury. We've got an adjustable seat for the rider, and get this, it's heated. It's got a 3-position heater switch underneath the seat. You can actually work it as you're riding along. Of course, the handlebars are heated. I'm not so keen on these bars. Look at the size of them. I am not a small person. If I was stood behind Tom Cruise, I could check his ball patch, and I can't reach to turn this motorcycle, and it's so heavy it can be really tricky to turn it in tight spots. And let's face it, the last thing you want to do with this thing is have it fall over and pin you to the ground. You'd never get up. We've got a stereo, of course, that's what this thing's for. FM AM radio, it's got a single shot CD player, the changes actually in one of the panniers. The instrumentation's fairly straightforward, not very dramatic. One thing that I should point out to you is that it's got cruise control, which is kind of a good thing. At the back, the pillion gets a good deal for once. Nice wide pegs, helps to keep their feet nice and cosy and comfortable. Heated seat for the passenger, big backrest, capacious, hard luggage, very easy to operate. Push that in, pull that, the whole thing tilts forward, and that will take a full-faced crash helmet. Been riding it for a couple of days, done a few 100 miles on it, and I'm not that struck. I just think it's a fish out of water. It's kind of built for the arrow straight highways of Arizona, where you could sit back in that sumptuous saddle, just set the cruise control, take one hand off the bars, and pump up the U2 on the CD player. Bit of the Joshua Tree, Death Valley, here we come. South Yorkshire, it's not really built for it.
I caught up with the rally just outside of Leeds. Off we go again, back to camp for the last evening of the VSOC Yorkie Rally.
Well, sadly, that is all from another Bike Shows UK, which came to you from lovely sunny Doncaster and the Virgo Stars Owners 10th anniversary rally. Have I changed my opinion of the Yamaha Virgo? Well, not really. They're never going to be my favourite bike, but I'll tell you what, the people who ride them are absolutely cracking. So, I shall see you very soon for yet another Bike Shows UK.